Recently, I just completed Drawloween, a 30-day art challenge. This is the criteria I was following. It's kinda like Inktober, except the prompts are more spooky. If you're an artist, I'm sure you know what these challenges are. I feel like artists either love or hate these kinds of things. I'll go more into that later on, but throughout the video I'll be showing various speed paints of some of my favorite pieces I did this past month during the challenge. I think this is like day 1 or like day 2 campfire. Now it's funny, every time I do one of these month-long challenges, I feel so drained and burnt out after it all. I swear I'll never do one of these ever again. But sure enough, some time passes, wounds heal, things go stale, things go predictable, and I feel like I'm up for a challenge, ready to be hurt again. Now, I bring this challenge up to talk about the topic of drawing every day. Would I recommend it? Is it solid advice for getting better as an artist? I think those are good questions, and my answer would be, well, it depends. I realize that's kind of a cheap answer, but I'll elaborate on that. I don't want to give a black or white yes or no to this approach, because there's some nuance to this concept. For example, for the first half of 2023, I was drawing every day and loving it. Here are some sketches from the books I've filled up. But I didn't keep that up forever. I eventually did calm down and drew infrequently before starting back up with Drawloween. If you want to commit to drawing every day to get better, by all means go ahead. But I feel like there are really important things to keep in mind, first and foremost. Some things I've learned along the way that I want to help you guys out with. But yeah, here are some points that I'll be covering in the video. If you want to jump to specific ones, I'll timestamp them. Feel free to skip around. I'm going to pause for a few seconds to provide you some time to make your choice. Okay. But some quick things I want to talk about before we get started. Just a quick side note. Some professional artists who work full-time, not all of them are going to draw every day themselves. Some days they'll be doing mundane tasks like responding to emails, managing their inventory if they have their own shop, crunching numbers and spreadsheets. You know, the behind-the-scenes stuff. So keep that in mind. Alright, let's move on. My first point is growth depends on your mental health. This is something that's becoming more obvious to us all the past few years, but it goes without saying that your mental health is something that you should not handle lightly. It affects your work, your relationships, your outlook on life, which in turn affects your attitudes on growing and becoming a better person. I say all this to remind you all that your happiness and well-being comes before getting better at art. If you find yourself going in circles creatively and being unhappy with where you are, I would say first and foremost look inwards to see if anything bigger is gnawing at you. I mean, you can practice all you want, but being miserable is no environment to foster growth. You fix your mental, you'll find pretty much all of the aspects in your life will start to improve. While on the topic of state of mind, confidence is also part of this conversation. And this is pretty insidious because for me at least, when I make art that I don't particularly like, it can take a hit to my confidence, which in turn affects my ability to even start another project or a piece. And vice versa, if I make something amazing and get a lot of praise, it feeds my ego and it keeps me motivated. I guess this whole cycle is part of what it means to be an artist, you know? Whether you're a chef, a filmmaker, or a painter, it's human nature to feel validated for your hard work. For more on this topic, I recommend this video by Josh. He talks about his mental health journey and how even though he didn't produce a lot of art in 2023, he noticed a significant improvement on the quality of his work in that same year, thanks to understanding his depression and pulling through that. My next point is something that seems obvious to some of us, but every now and then we need a reminder like this. So let's say you're doing good mentally, you've got all your bases covered, but every time you're drawing, it just feels like a chore. You don't have anything going on creatively, and you just feel lost. So, what do? Well, if you're not having fun, you'll get nowhere. In this scenario, I'd say either you have art block, or you're just putting too much pressure on yourself, and art just feels like an obligation. Can you grow as an artist in this setting? Most likely not. But nobody wants to be miserable when they're making art. You want to feel excited and eager when being creative, right? So here I would say either take a break, or go fill your creative tank by getting out and making some memories. Or you can shift gears and change what you're drawing by looking inward and asking yourself, what it is that you enjoy creating. I know for me, back when I was drawing every day this past summer, I was doing quick light sketches that took me about 30 to 60 minutes each day. No pressure to make a finished piece by no means. Those are mostly just Pinterest studies anyway, but I was enjoying it. I think that's an important thing to note too. Pressure and expectations when drawing every day. I feel like I kind of get ahead of myself during Inktober or Drawloween and decide to make fully rendered pieces when they should be something a little more simple in design and composition. I end up, being 2-4 days behind and then having to crunch and draw like a million pieces a day, and that's not good for us. But anyways, moving forward, drawing every day really can increase your artistic growth. There's a catch to that though. It hinges on a crucial detail, and that's perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice wrong. If you practice without taking the time to think and strategize on what needs fixing, then you'll be wasting your time. You'll just be walking in circles. Sometimes you have to slow down and take a step back to see where your faults lie and what kind of fundamentals you need to brush up on. Maybe try asking a friend to look at your work. Maybe someone who's also an artist, and see if they can give you any constructive criticism. Sometimes all we need is a fresh pair of eyes looking at our work. I guess my main takeaway from this point is sometimes we need to focus on quality practice instead of quantity of practice. Drawing every day does not emphasize quality practice. And finally, my last major point is artistic growth is a long process. Look, you can be doing everything right, but if anything, please be patient. I'd compare this to going to the gym and working out. Obviously you're not going to see results overnight. You have to keep up at it. And obviously everyone grows at different rates. Let's use myself as an example. After I switched majors in school to art and started applying myself, I would say I didn't see significant growth in my art, like real big boy growth, after about 3 to 5 years, I'd say. So just keep at it, and hey, take the time to look back at your old art to see how far you've come, because that really is a pretty sobering experience too. Give yourself some credit. In conclusion, as an artist, should you be drawing every day? Do I draw every day myself? Well, personally, no. I do not draw every day, at least for the time being. For me, it's a habit I come to every now and then, but it's not something that's sustainable in perpetuity. Hey, but if you want to give it a shot, by all means, go ahead if that's something you want to do. This mindset of making art a daily habit is certainly going to resonate with some people, and it's definitely not for everyone. But if you are going to draw every day, I'd put the most minimal pressure and expectations on yourself. You're not going to be coming up with rendered masterpieces every day, obviously. Just sketch. That's what I did earlier this year, when I was doing it every day. I think people know their own limits and what they're comfortable with. It's just a matter of dipping your toes in the water and experiencing it for yourself. For more on this topic of drawing every day, I'd check out Kelsey Rodriguez's video. She goes into this subject as well and talks about her own experiences in it. Give it a peep. Thank you everyone for watching this month's video. I know I said it'd come out around Halloween, but life happens, you gotta deal with priorities. It's not every day a game like Mario Wonder comes out, okay? No, but in all seriousness, I'm gonna be moving up to NorCal sometime in the next month or so. So my schedule may be erratic for just a little while longer, but just hang in there. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care.